Hello, I'm Sarah Long, Director of the North Suburban Library System, and this is my Vodcast. We're at the Schaumburg Township District Library, and I'm talking to Uri Toch, who is a reference librarian here, right?
I am.
And now, you have an unusual name. How do I say it?
Well, it's Uri, biblical name, and I like to say Uri from Missouri.
Yeah?
Kind of a rhymes.
That's good.
And the other part of it is, you know, Missouri, its slogan is the show me state.
That's right.
And we're librarians and we show people things. So
I say you really are from Missouri?
No, but I'm really a librarian.
Yeah,
that's the nice thing.
I get it. Now, so since you're a librarian, and this is 2007, you know that some people say that Google is going to replace us all.
Right. Well, I heard in your intro that you said that Uri's going to give us the answer.
Yeah?
Well, I don't think there is the answer, but librarians and other information professionals have been struggling with this issue for a number of years.
Sure.
And here, for example, is a whole book, Libraries and Google.
Ah.
You know, so all these chapters are talking about it. It's all over the literature. You know, what does Google mean? And, you know, I like to think of sometimes Google being more a metaphor for technology. And I think the key to libraries is embracing technology, learning from technology, utilizing technology. Technology is not an answer, but it's a tool. And we have to, as librarians, you know, we have to meet people where they are.
Yeah.
And people are online, and when people are online, they're going to be on Google. I mean, that's it. And, you know, what can we learn from Google, which is a lot, and what can Google learn from us, which is a lot. And so I think it's like the Internet. You know, in 1994, 1995, you know, they said, well, the Internet's coming, and it's all going to be over for libraries. And in our most recent American libraries, I just happen to have this so that we're talking about June, July 2007 American libraries. New data shows increased library usage. So here it even starts. 10 years after some pundits predicted the demise of the nation's system of libraries as a result of the Internet explosion, the most current national data on library use shows the exact opposite has happened.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and I think we're going to find the same thing, that if we use Google right, that is, if we as librarians use it as a search tool, which it is, if we train people on how to use it, then it's going to become the vehicle. I mean, when the library opens on a weekend, for example, half the people or more make a beeline to our Internet terminal.
Right. Do they ask for help?
Well, that's a good question. Some do and some don't. And as we know, sometimes the most important people to reach and the hardest ones to train are the ones who don't think they need any help. And so I think the Google issue is really a training issue. And as I said, I think...
Well, now, for example, what can I Google around all the time, and I more or less find what I need. Tell me something I can do to make my Google searches more effective.
Okay, well, one thing, for example, and I was going to give an example here where we have Google. I said, well, let's search for libraries in Google, right?
Okay,
I mean, that's the search term. Okay. And we're going to get not too few hits.
It looks like 45 million.
45 million.
Yeah.
So one thing you can do, because what's happening here is that really they're looking for the words libraries.
And?
Well, really, libraries, so they're looking for the words libraries and the word Google.
In the same passage?
No,
separately.
Yeah, and so what we're going to do now, this is just a simple trick, is you put quotation marks around it. And we're going to do this here.
Search again.
Yeah.
And how many do we get this time?
We're going to find out, because this is the first time I'm doing it. So we go back, we go to 19,000.
Only 19,000?
Only not, no, there's still a lot of different ways you can do it. You can go into advanced search. But I want to show you something different, because what we want to do is we want to meet people where they are.
And so the quotation marks, they narrow your search by making sure...
It's a phrase.
Yes. And if we wanted to put animals in there, too, libraries in Google put animals.
Okay, that would narrow it further still.
Right. And so you should think about your question in narrower terms when you get 45 million here.
Right. And then what I wanted to do is to tie it in, because if we're going to learn from Google, and I think we need to, what Google, I think, really helped us do, and the Internet really helped us as libraries do, is get us to where we needed to be, which was online more effectively. And now more people are getting to libraries through their web pages, through the remote databases.
Yes.
So let me just show you that same search on one of our remote databases, EBSCO.
Now, so these are things that you pay for.
This is something, these are proprietary databases.
Now, why do you have those? I mean, the internet is free. Why would the library spend its good hard-earned money on a proprietary database?
Because, as you saw, and we didn't go through all the hits, but 45 million is quite a lot to go through.
Yeah.
And then there's the question of authority of those records, because in order to get on the internet, all you need is internet connection and a little money to pay for your upkeep.
Well, and from my experience, some of them are redundant. You see the same kind of hit picked up again and again.
Now let's just try libraries in Google in an EBSCO database, and these are going to be an index to journals, Time, Newsweek, and academic journals too, and we're putting them in libraries in Google, kind of a keyword search, and we have
200.
Yeah, it looks a little bit more. It looks like a 7, but 700. And then you could limit this further still by searching these by subjects.
Oh, so it even has more search
parameters. It allows you to. Now, Google has some advanced mechanisms, but the key is Google is not reviewing these databases. Part of what you're paying for when you're paying for a database are the staffs who get there, and so they're putting subject headings on. So we're going to go.
So this is massaged database. This is the stuff in a database that you buy is massaged information. So it's not just any old thing that somebody, I don't know, ripped off or made up or whatever. It's authentic. Well,
it's generally been a lot of them have been peer reviewed. If they're academic journals, or certainly they've been vetted through editors through the selection process. And so we're always, and then when we put them as subject terms, we went from 700 to 222.
Okay,
and
we're getting better.
Yeah, and many of these are available full text, which is hard to find on Google, though not impossible. They have Google Scholar, and they're refining things. I mean, that's the thing where we can learn from Google. They're trying to. Their mission is very similar to libraries.
Yes, it is.
Except they're .com and we're .org in a way. I mean,
that's a big difference.
Yeah, that's a very big difference. But it's exciting. I think Google is getting people more aware of the plethora of information out there, and it's helping people create information and access it. And then it's our job, just like it's always been our job, to help people find it and to work with them.
That's good. I like this tip and this hint.
Good. Well, that's it. And so I think public libraries, to the extent that they can offer training on how to use Google, and this is happening. I was at an ACRL,
that's the Academic Library Group.
and Northwestern, which is also a member of North Suburban Library System. One of the training programs was showing the training they give to their students on how to use Google.
And I think all the students have to have a computer, or they've given one or something.
They're given one, but what we're doing with this training is we're sending a very clear signal that Google is not the enemy.
Yeah.
Google is, not a partner in a real sense, but in the information world, students are going to be on Google. So let's teach them to use Google, just like we don't tell students don't drive, right? Yeah. Students are going to drive, so let's teach them to drive. If they're going to use Google responsibly. How about that?
Right, and also the point you're making is that libraries have things that work like Google that are even better.
Right, and then again, it's not either or.
No.
It's not either or. It's both. I remember I was working with a patron on a totally unrelated issue, but we were looking for articles on nature versus nurture, right? So we went into one of our databases and we looked for nature versus nurture, and we didn't get any hits. So, but I'm being a librarian, so I knew I'd do a keyword search. So rather than a subject search, I did a keyword search.
Nature, so it's in the technique too.
Well, not only that, then I went in, once we got some hits, I went in and looked at the subject heading. You know what the subject heading was?
What?
Nature and nurture.
Oh.
So by the same token, it's not libraries or Google, it's libraries and Google.
I get
and then together we work, and we're going to meet the future together.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Well,
you're the face of the future.
Well,
I love it. Thanks for watching. For more Vodcast, go to my website. That's www.sarahlong.org. And you can write to me at sarah@sarahlong.org.